I'm Jennifer, 32 years old, and just yesterday, I thought my husband, Jason, was still deployed overseas with his unit. I never dreamed a family dinner at my in-laws would turn into a nightmare. My mother-in-law's hand cracking across my face, knocking me into the wall, my sister-in-law spitting on me, and my brother-in-law filming it all laughing. They called me a gold digger who trapped their precious son and brother. They thought their cruel plan was hidden. They couldn't have been more wrong. Want to know what happened when that door swung open, exposing their worst fear? Drop a comment with where you're watching from, hit like and subscribe, and get ready for a story of family betrayal and the justice that followed. First, let me take you back to how Jason and I fell in love, and why his family hated me from the start, even if they masked it at first. 4 years ago, I was teaching third graders in a small town near Fort Benning. I loved my job, pouring my heart into those kids, even if the paycheck was modest. One June weekend, my friend Olivia invited me to a barbecue at her house. I almost stayed home to grade papers, but a little voice pushed me to go. That voice was fate. Jason was there, visiting Olivia's husband, a fellow soldier. Tall, confident but kind, his warm eyes lit up when he smiled. Our gazes met across the yard, like something from a sappy rom-com you'd roll your eyes at. He walked over, holding 2 drinks, handed me one and said with a grin, "This was for someone else, but I forgot who." His easy charm made me laugh, and we talked for hours, lost in each other. Our love story soared from there. Jason, an army captain admired for his courage, was loyal to his country and his troops. We bonded over everything, old black and white movies, silly jokes, and dreams of a quiet farm life one day. 3 months in, he took me to meet his family. At first, things seemed okay. His dad, General Robert Williams, a retired Army veteran with 30 years of service, was polite but cold. His mom, Barbara, from a rich family, offered smiles that never felt real. His sister, Vanessa, 2 years younger than Jason, gave me a stiff hug, and his brother, Eric, 25, barely looked up from his phone. "They'll come around," Jason assured me later. "They're just cautious after my ex." He didn't elaborate and I didn't press. Looking back, I wish I had. 6 months later, Jason proposed, and my heart soared. We wanted a simple wedding, but his parents insisted on grandeur. "A Williams doesn't marry in a backyard," Barbara said, her smile tight. Their country club ceremony had over 300 guests, most strangers to me. It was beautiful but overwhelming. At the reception, I overheard Barbara murmur to a friend, "She's nice, but military life's hard for teachers. Her background's so ordinary." Her words stung, but I brushed it off as wedding nerves. Jason always defended me against their subtle digs. "Mom, Jennifer's dad was a sergeant. She understands military life better than most." Still, their jabs kept coming, about my clothes, my job, or whether I'd still work if we had kids. When Jason got orders for a 9-month deployment, my heart broke, but I stood by him. The week before he left, we holed up in our cozy 2-bedroom home on base, savoring every moment. The night before he shipped out, he held me tight and whispered, "I love you more than anything. Don't let my family get to you. They'll come around." The early months of his absence were hard but doable. I kept teaching, chatted with Jason on video calls when I could, and mostly avoided his family, except for holiday visits. Then last week, Barbara called, her voice unusually warm. "Jennifer, darling, it's been too long. We miss you and Jason. Join us for dinner Friday, just family. I'm making his favorite pot roast." Her invitation caught me off guard, but it sparked hope. Maybe this was their peace offering while Jason was away. I agreed and spent days choosing a gift. A custom photo frame with a proud picture of Jason in his uniform. I thought it would melt their hearts. Driving to their grand mansion in the ritzy part of town, I clung to Jason's words. "They just need time." Maybe time had done its trick. I smoothed my blue dress, Jason's favorite, in the rearview mirror and approached their door, my heart full of hope. Barbara greeted me with her usual polished smile and a quick hug. "Come in, Jennifer. Everyone's in the dining room." Clutching my gift bag, I pushed down a wave of nerves. This would be a great night, a new beginning with my in-laws. I had no clue I was stepping into a trap. The dining room was flawless as always. Crystal glasses gleamed under the chandelier, and the antique mahogany table was set with fine china. General Williams gave me a nod from the table's head. Vanessa flashed a tight smile, and Eric barely looked up from his phone. "You look comfortable," Vanessa said, eyeing my dress with a tone that stung. I'd chosen my outfit carefully for a family dinner, but her designer clothes made me feel out of place. "Thanks for having me," I said, setting the gift on a side table. "I brought something for you all." "How sweet," Barbara said, but didn't touch it. "Sit. The roast's almost ready." Dinner started awkwardly but stayed polite. General Williams asked about my teaching job, his tone hinting it was more hobby than career. "How's the pay for teachers these days?" he said, slicing his salad with precision. "It's modest but rewarding," I answered honestly. "I love the kids." He gave a small hum and glanced at Barbara. "Your parents still in Arizona, was it?" "Tucson," I corrected. "My dad passed 2 years ago, but Mom's still in the same house." Vanessa chimed in. "That cute little bungalow from your photos. So charming to stay put so long." Their questions felt like jabs at my middle-class roots, from student loans to the simple charm of base housing. I stayed calm, answering kindly, trying to keep things light. I brought up Jason's latest call, mentioning his unit's community work. Barbara's reply was sharp. "We got a detailed email about that. Odd he didn't tell you." Her words stung, but I forced a smile. Deployment limits communication. I cherish every moment we get. As the main course arrived, my phone buzzed in my purse. I usually ignore it, but with Jason deployed, I always check in case it's him. "Excuse me, it might be Jason," I said, standing. Barbara's face tightened, but she nodded. In the hallway, I answered, "A colleague about a lesson plan." As I headed back, I overheard Vanessa's voice. "She thinks she's fooled us all. That gold digger believes Jason's hers forever." "Hush," Barbara hissed, too loud. "But it's clear she trapped him, right before his promotion. Not a coincidence." Vanessa kept going. "That cheap dress? She's trying too hard to fit in. When Jason's back, we'll make him see sense." General Williams added, "A quick chat with a divorce lawyer will fix this before kids complicate it." Eric's voice joined in. "I'm collecting proof, her background, her greed. Jason will thank us later." My heart raced, tears welling up, but I held them back. I knew they disapproved, but their raw hatred and plans to destroy my marriage hit hard. I wanted to grab my purse and run from this toxic house. But then I thought of Jason, our love, and the truth they were twisting. Fleeing would only prove them right. I took a deep breath, steadied myself, and chose to face them with calm strength. Back in the dining room, their sudden silence confirmed they'd been talking about me. For pairs of eyes watched as I sat. Eric quickly hiding his phone. "Everything okay?" Barbara asked, her concern fake. "Actually," I said, my voice firm despite my nerves, "we need to talk. I overheard some troubling things, and we should address them now." The room's mood shifted, like storm clouds gathering. I had no clue how fierce that storm would get. Silence followed, heavy and tense. Barbara spoke first, her fake smile back in place. "I'm not sure what you heard, Jennifer, but it's a misunderstanding," she said, her tone sweet but her eyes cold as ice. "I heard you call me a gold digger," I said plainly. "I heard plans to push Jason to divorce me when he's back. I heard Eric talk about gathering evidence against me." Vanessa laughed sharply. "Paranoid, huh? We were talking about a TV show. Eavesdrop much? Get the context right." I shook my head. "I know what I heard. You question my background and motives, but I married Jason for love, not money or status." Eric finally looked up, smirking. "A nobody teacher falls for a top officer from a respected family, right after his promotion? Do the math." "I didn't know about his promotion when we got engaged," I said, staying calm. "I've got my own savings. I've never asked for your money." General Williams cleared his throat. "You need to see our side. The Williams name matters. Jason's career is bright. We're protecting him from rash choices." "Rash?" My control wavered. "We dated 9 months before getting engaged. We've been married for years. That's not rash." Barbara cut in. "He's been deployed twice in those years. Men romanticize home when they're away. Jason will see clearly soon." "He sees clearly now," I said, pulling out my phone. Yesterday, he texted how much he loves me and can't wait to come home. I showed them the message. Counting the days until I hold you again. You're my heart, my home, my everything. For more weeks. Barbara's face twisted, and she grabbed my phone. These could be fate. You might be texting yourself. Give it back, I demanded, standing. Or what? Vanessa sneered. Calling the cops on your mother-in-law for checking shady texts? Those texts are private between me and my husband, I said, reaching for my phone. Barbara yanked it back, passing it to Eric, who slipped it into his pocket. We'll hold on to this until we confirm it's really from Jason, he said with a smug grin. This is absurd, I said, my heart racing. You can't steal my phone or call me a liar. Barbara stood, towering over me. We're protecting our son and brother. You don't belong in his life or our family. I'm his wife, I said, my voice nearly cracking but firm. You can't change that. It's temporary, General Williams said coldly. We'll fix it. They closed in, Vanessa joining her mother, blocking my path to the door. Eric stayed seated, smirking like he was watching a show. I'm leaving, I said, clinging to my dignity. Give me my phone. First, hear us out, Barbara said, stepping closer, her heavy perfume choking me. We know about your dad's gambling debts, your student loans, how you scraped by before Jason. I gasped. They'd been digging into my life. Jason knows all that. My dad battled addiction before he died. I worked hard for my degree. I've never hidden it. That's not why I married him. Drop the act, Vanessa snapped. You're just like the rest, chasing a chance to climb the social ladder. Their accusations hit like punches, each one stinging more. I fought back tears, refusing to break. I'm done here. I tried to slip past Barbara, but she blocked me. You'll divorce Jason quietly when he's back. We'll pay you, clear your debts, start over far away. Their bribe was the last straw. I'd never take your money or leave Jason unless he wants me to. He knows who I am, unlike you. That's when words turned to violence, crossing a line I never expected. It happened so fast. Barbara's face twisted with rage, her calm mask gone. Her hand struck my cheek, the force sending me crashing into the wall. The slap's echo filled the silent room. Shock hit harder than the pain, my cheek burning as I touched it, stunned my mother-in-law had hit me. For years of their cold remarks never turned physical, until now. How dare you talk to me like that in my house? Barbara hissed, shaking with fury. Before I could respond, Vanessa stepped up, her face full of hate, and spat in my face. Warm spit mixed with my tears. Gold digger, she sneered. Eric laughed loudly, pulling out his phone. This is gold, he said, recording. The club's gonna love this. The shame burned worse than the slap. I wiped my face, hands trembling, feeling utterly broken. You're nothing, Barbara said, her voice dripping venom. And nobody trying to rise by snagging a Williams. You'll never be good enough for my son. Never. General Williams sat still, watching without a word, his silence as painful as their actions. Jason will see your true colors, Vanessa added. Friends saw you cozying up to men while he's away. That's a lie. I choked out through tears. I've never cheated on Jason. Your word against ours, Eric mocked, still filming. Who'll he trust? His lifelong family, or the gold digger who showed up before his promotion? I stood straighter, scraping together my pride. I'm leaving. Keep the phone. Jason knows the truth. Barbara blocked the door again. We're not done. We are, I said, stronger than I felt. I won't stay to be attacked. Attacked? Barbara laughed coldly. Playing the victim? This is nothing compared to what we'll do if you fight the divorce. Our connections will ruin your little teacher life. Their threats grew sharper, fear mixing with my anger and shame. These people had power and no limits. I need my purse and I'm gone, I said, trying to stay calm as my heart pounded. Agree to our terms first, Barbara demanded. A quiet divorce, a fair payout for your silence about us. A clean break. No, I said, my legs shaky but my resolve firm. I won't be bullied or bought. Vanessa stepped closer, her perfume blending with Barbara's, choking me. You're so stubborn. Think you can beat us? This isn't a game, I shot back. I love Jason. That's what matters. Love, Eric scoffed, still filming. So sweet. Keep talking about your epic romance while I catch your best angle. I lunged for his phone, desperate to stop him, but General Williams stood fast, blocking me. Enough, he said, glaring at me, not his kids. You'll leave, but first you'll hear us out. We'll talk to Jason soon about everything, including your emotional outbursts. Outbursts? I said, stunned. You mean reacting to being slapped and spat on by my husband's family? Eric smirked. The video won't show that. Editing's a funny thing. Panic surged. They weren't just attacking me. They were planning to twist the truth. Through my tears, I heard the front door open, but no one else noticed, too caught up in the moment. Heavy footsteps grew louder, nearing the dining room. You'll wish you never met my son, Barbara said, jabbing her finger in my face. We'll make sure Jason forgets why he married you. I'm calling my lawyer tonight, Vanessa added. My friend handles military divorces. They're messy, but money fixes everything. I was cornered against the wall, trapped by 3 people who despised me for reasons beyond my control, with Eric filming my shame. I'd never felt so alone, so helpless. What's going on here? A deep, commanding voice sliced through the room, chillingly familiar. Everyone froze. There, in the doorway, stood Jason, dusty in his combat uniform. Silence swallowed the dining room. Barbara's finger hovered, her face paling. Vanessa stepped back and Eric quickly hid his phone. General Williams straightened, his military instincts kicking in despite the shock. Jason's face was unreadable as he scanned the room. His eyes moved from his mother's aggressive pose to my tear-streaked face, spotting the red mark on my cheek. Still in his boots, rucksack in hand, he'd clearly come straight from his trip home. Jason, Barbara said, her voice suddenly warm and motherly. What a lovely surprise. We didn't know you were back. She stepped toward him, arms open, but Jason's raised hand stopped her cold. Don't move, he said, his voice low and firm as stone. I need to know what I just walked into. Barbara's smile wavered. Just a small family spat. You know how emotional Jennifer can be. She misheard us and overreacted. I started to protest the lie, but Jason's slight headshake told me to wait. Really? He said, staring at Eric. And you're recording this spat because? Eric squirmed. For clarity, later. Clarity, Jason echoed, the word heavy. Dad, your take. General Williams cleared his throat. Son, it's complex. Let's talk privately, man to man. No, Jason said sharply. I've missed enough family talks. Vanessa, your turn. Vanessa glanced at her mom, then Jason. Jennifer was hysterical. You know how she is. Jason nodded slowly, then looked at me. Jennifer, tell me what happened. I took a trembling breath. They invited me to dinner. I overheard them call me a gold digger, planning to push you to divorce me. When I called them out, your mom slapped me, Vanessa spat on me, and Eric filmed it, laughing. She's lying, Barbara cut in. Jason, you can't believe. Stop, Jason snapped, his voice sharp as a blade. I stood outside the door for 5 minutes. I saw and heard it all. Barbara's face went white. You must have misunderstood. Did I miss you slapping my wife? Jason asked, anger breaking through. Did I miss Vanessa spitting on her? Or the threats to ruin her life and fake evidence? Silence gripped the room, broken only by the old grandfather clock's steady ticks. My deployment got delayed last minute, Jason said, setting his rucksack down. I wanted to surprise you all with good news. Guess I'm the one surprised. Son, General Williams tried. We just wanted to protect you. She's my wife, Jason cut in. The woman I love, the one I chose forever. And you attacked her in our family home. It wasn't assault, Barbara said, her voice shaky despite her defiance. Tell that to the security cameras I set up last Christmas, Jason shot back coldly. They cover every room, including this one. Eric's face paled as he looked up, spotting the tiny camera hidden in the chandelier's crystals. You recorded us? Vanessa's voice cracked with panic. I installed them after the silver went missing, Jason said. Mom blamed the staff, but I wanted proof. Tonight, they caught something worse than theft. He walked to me, gently touching my face, brushing away a tear. You okay? He asked softly. I nodded, my throat tight with emotion. Where's your phone? Eric took it, I whispered. Jason faced his brother, hand out. Give it back. Now. Eric hesitated, then handed over my phone. Car keys in your purse? Jason asked. I nodded. Where's your purse? Hallway, I said quietly. We're leaving, Jason declared, his arm around me like a shield. But first, hear this. He faced his family, his eyes hard. Jennifer is my wife, my priority, my heart. Your actions tonight broke every rule of respect. I've never been so ashamed to be a Williams. Jason, please, Barbara said, tears in her eyes. We thought we were doing what's best for you. No, he snapped. You cared about your image, not Jennifer. You never tried to know her or why I love her. He turned to his father. You said crises show character, Dad. Tonight proved that. General Williams stayed silent, his usual strength gone. We're going home, Jason said. I'll check the footage, file a police report for assault, and call my lawyer. What happens next depends on you. You're picking her over us? Vanessa asked, shocked. Jason's gaze softened with sadness. You forced that choice. And yes, I choose her every time. He grabbed my purse from the hallway and led me to the door, leaving his stunned family behind. The cool night air hit me, easing the weight of it all. Jason's presence a lifeline when I needed him most. The drive home was quiet. Jason held my hand tightly, like I might slip away. His jaw clenched as he wrestled with what happened. I'm so sorry, he said as we neared our street. I never thought they'd go this far. It's not your fault, I said, my voice still unsteady. You couldn't know they'd do that. He parked but stayed in the car. I knew they were snobs, but violence? Filming it? Threatening you? He shook his head, stunned. There were hints over the years, he said. Snide comments, how they treated my ex. I thought it was just them being protective. Your ex? I asked, piecing things together. What happened? Jason sighed. Angela. She was like you, working class, studying nursing. They were cold, made her feel small, but nothing physical, I think. We split during my first deployment. She said the distance was too much, but now I wonder if they pushed her out. We sat quietly before heading inside. Our little base house felt safe after the nightmare at the mansion. Jason set his rucksack down and hugged me gently, mindful of my sore cheek. I need you to know, he said, looking into my eyes. I've never doubted you. You're the love of my life, not some family obligation. I nodded, tears of relief rising. I never doubted you either. Good, he said, kissing my forehead. Let's get ice for your cheek. Then tell me everything from the start. Over hot tea, an ice pack on my cheek. I shared every detail of the night. Jason listened, his face darkening at the parts about the slap, the spit, and their threats. They won't get away with this, he said when I was done. That was assault, plain and simple. Their blackmail and plans to fake evidence? That's criminal. What's next? I asked, nervous about making things bigger. Tomorrow, I'll pull the security footage, he said. Then we file a police report, get a restraining order, talk to my commander, and call our lawyer. Are you sure? They're your family, I said, though I craved justice. Family doesn't treat you like that, Jason said firmly. They need to face the consequences. The next morning, Jason kept his promise. He downloaded the security footage, which showed everything: Barbara's slap, Vanessa's spit, every cruel word and threat, clear as day. At the police station, the officers were shocked by the video. A kind female officer photographed my bruised cheek, now darker, while another took our statements. Pressing charges, Captain Williams? The sergeant asked, surprised by the family's status. Absolutely, Jason said without pause. And we need details on a restraining order. By noon, we'd filed the report and requested restraining orders against Barbara, Vanessa, and Eric. General Williams didn't hit me, but Jason included him for letting it happen. Leaving the courthouse, Jason's phone buzzed with family calls and texts. He ignored them until a message from Eric stopped him cold. What is it? I asked, seeing his jaw tighten. Eric posted an edited video online, he said, showing me. It makes you look like the aggressor, tagged to military spouses and locals. My heart sank. Oh no. Don't worry, Jason said, his voice steady but icy. This just strengthens our case, defamation on top of assault. We went straight to Major Harrison, Jason's commander, who knew the Williams family well. I worried about his reaction, given their influence. But after seeing the full footage, he was firm. This is unacceptable, no matter who they are, he said. Captain, your career won't suffer for protecting your wife. I'd be concerned if you didn't act. He added. Your promotion was all you, your record, your leadership, not your family's money. Jason nodded, clearly relieved. Thank you, sir, he said. As we left the base, Jason's phone buzzed again. It's Jeff, he said, naming a close friend from his unit. Eric's video is bombing. Military spouses spotted the edits and are calling him out. Laura's got the real footage now. Laura, a platoon sergeant's wife, had always been kind, inviting me to events during Jason's deployment. The community's got our back, Jason said, a small smile breaking through. At home, we found supportive voicemails and a basket of meals from neighbors on our porch. That night, our lawyer called with news. The police questioned Barbara, Vanessa, and Eric, and their stories didn't match. Eric's edited video was evidence tampering, maybe defamation. Our restraining orders were approved, and assault and conspiracy charges were on the table. They underestimated you, Jason said as we sat on our porch swing. And they didn't expect consequences. I never wanted this fight, I admitted. I hoped they'd accept me someday. Jason squeezed my hand. I know, but sometimes people show their true selves, and you have to believe them. They did that last night. What about their money obsession? I asked. They think I'm after wealth, but we live on base with old cars. Jason chuckled. That's the irony. They thought you knew about my grandfather's trust fund, Jason said. I never touched it or told you because it's not important to me. We live on my salary by choice. A trust fund? I asked, genuinely shocked. Gold Digger Award goes to me, he teased, kissing my forehead softly. Yeah, it matures when I'm 35, but I only want it for our dream farm when I retire. Their assumption proved how little they understood us or respected Jason's choices. Weeks later, the legal battle continued. The Williams family got top lawyers, but the evidence was undeniable. They took a plea deal, probation, community service, counseling, and a big payout we donated to a charity for military families. More than that, we learned who our real friends were. The military community rallied around us, offering love and support. My school colleagues sent flowers and covered my classes for court days. Jason and I grew stronger, our bond unbreakable. 6 months after that awful night, we're thriving, more certain of our future together. Now we sit on our new home's porch, watching a sunset blaze in oranges and pinks. We moved off base last month to a cozy 3-bedroom house, 20 minutes from Fort Benning. It's not our dream farm yet, but it's ours, a big step up from base housing. Penny for your thoughts, Jason says, handing me hot chocolate despite the warm Georgia evening. Just thinking how much has changed, I say, taking the mug. Mostly good changes. And they are good. After that night, I took time off teaching to heal, physically and emotionally. My cheeks' bruise faded fast, but the emotional scars lingered longer. With a therapist who gets family trauma, I've tackled the pain, betrayal, and fear. When I was ready, I found a job teaching military kids on base, using my story to help them cope with their challenges. Jason's been my anchor. He joined me for therapy when I asked, held me through early nightmares, and faced his family with me in court, never wavering. Did you see your mom's email? I asked carefully. Jason sighs. Yeah, she wants coffee next week. Says she's sticking with therapy and has things to tell us. Barbara's court-ordered therapy seems to be working. She's doing extra sessions, trying to understand her controlling ways. You ready to see her? I ask. What do you think? Jason pauses. I'm ready not for her, but for us. Holding on to anger is draining. Reconciling with his family is tricky and far from done. General Williams apologized first, his military mindset owning his mistake for not stopping the fight. He keeps his distance, sending formal letters of regret to us both. Vanessa's apology started fake, but her women's shelter service changed her. The director said helping abuse survivors opened her eyes. Her latest letter feels sincere. Eric's been stubborn. His edited video cost him an internship and respect. He's in anger management, sending Jason short updates but no real apology yet. Forgiveness is harder than I thought, I say, leaning on Jason's shoulder. Part of me's still mad, but I know holding that anger only hurts me. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or letting them back in fully, Jason says softly, his voice steady as he looks into my eyes. It's about freeing us from their grip. I nod, feeling the weight of those words sink in. Over the past months, this idea has become our mantra, a simple phrase we repeat during quiet evenings or tough days. It reminds us that setting boundaries isn't about holding grudges or punishing others. It's about protecting our own peace and building a life where we can thrive without constant fear or resentment. We've put that mantra into action with the Williams family. After everything that happened, we knew we couldn't just cut them off completely, but we also couldn't pretend nothing had changed. So, we created a careful structure for any contact. Limited interactions, always supervised, like short coffee meetings in public places. This way, we keep our emotional safety intact while leaving a small door open for genuine change if they prove it over time. It hasn't been easy. There were days when I questioned if we were being too strict, wondering if forgiveness meant more leniency. But Jason and I talked it through, reminding each other that true healing comes from balance, not rushing back into toxic patterns. This approach has given us control, turning what could have been ongoing chaos into something manageable. One unexpected gift from this painful chapter has been my dive into a support group for military spouses. At first, I joined out of sheer desperation, needing a place to vent without judgment. The group met weekly in a community center on base, a circle of women who understood the unique stresses of deployments, relocations, and family pressures. I'll never forget my first support group meeting for military spouses. I slipped into the community center on base, choosing a chair in the back corner. My hands clasped so tightly my knuckles whitened. The room buzzed with quiet chatter, but I felt like an outsider, unsure if I belonged. Then others started sharing stories of overbearing in-laws, the ache of loneliness during deployments, the pressure of fitting into military life. Their words mirrored my own struggles, and something inside me unclenched. When it was my turn to speak, I hesitated. My throat felt tight, the weight of that awful dinner with Jason's family still fresh. But as I started, the words poured out, about the betrayal, the assault, the humiliation. For the first time, I felt truly heard. No one interrupted or judged. They just nodded, their eyes warm with quiet empathy, offering a lifeline I didn't know I needed. That night changed me. What began as a desperate search for support quickly grew into something bigger. After a few meetings, the group leader, Laura, pulled me aside. "Jennifer, you've got a gift for connecting with people," she said. "Would you consider co-leading with me?" I froze. Me helping others when I was still stitching my heart back together? I doubted myself, but her confidence in me was infectious. I said yes. Co-leading has been transformative. Our group is a safe haven where spouses open up about the challenges of military life, things most people don't talk about. We discuss handling snide remarks about your job, surviving holidays when your partner's halfway across the world, or wrestling with the guilt of saying no to toxic family members. I started sharing my story anonymously, testing the waters, but as trust grew, I opened up more. Watching someone's face light up when they realize they're not alone is like watching a weight lift off their shoulders. It's become my purpose. Laura called today. I tell Jason as we sit on our porch, the sun dipping low, painting the sky in soft pinks and oranges. Laura's not just a group leader anymore. She's a dear friend, someone who's seen me at my lowest and cheered my growth. The group's adding a second meeting night, I say, a smile tugging at my lips. We've got so many people joining now. Jason's eyes gleam with pride, his smile warm and genuine. That's incredible, Jennifer. You took something so painful and turned it into help for others. That's who you are, one of a million reasons I love you. His words wrap around me like a cozy blanket. I squeeze his hand, marveling at how our bond has not just survived, but thrived through the storm of his family's betrayal. The legal battles, the emotional scars, the sleepless nights, they've only made us stronger. Our late-night talks are deeper now, filled with raw honesty. Our trust feels like bedrock, unshakable. I take a deep breath, my heart fluttering with a mix of joy and nerves. I have news, I say, my voice trembling slightly. Jason turns to me, his eyebrows lifting in curiosity, a playful spark in his eyes. What's up? I'm pregnant, I blurt out, the words feeling fresh and magical, like a secret I've only just begun to believe. 8 weeks along. I confirmed it with the doctor yesterday. Jason's face transforms in an instant. Joy breaks across it like the first rays of dawn, his eyes widening before softening with tears. Really? We're having a baby? His voice cracks with emotion, and it's the most beautiful sound. I nod, my own happy tears spilling over. Yes, our baby. He pulls me into a gentle hug, his arms wrapping around me with such care, as if I might break despite my insistence that I'm not fragile. I melt into him, feeling the steady thump of his heart against mine. This moment is a beacon of light, a stark contrast to the darkness we've walked through. It feels like a new chapter, one we've earned. This is the best news, he whispers, pulling back to look at me, his hands cupping my face. How are you feeling? Any problems? Good mostly, I say with a small laugh, wiping my eyes. A little morning sickness here and there, but it's manageable. I'm just so excited, Jason. We sit for a moment, hands clasped, letting the reality of our growing family sink in. The air feels charged with possibility, but as the joy settles, deeper thoughts creep in. I hesitate, then say, I've been thinking about family a lot lately. Obviously. About what kind of parents we'll be, and what kind of extended family our child will have. Jason nods, instantly picking up on the unspoken weight behind my words. He's always been so attuned to me, especially after what his family did. We get to decide what family means for us and our kid, he says firmly, his voice steady. We'll surround them with love, with people who show kindness, respect, and healthy boundaries every single day. His words loosen a knot in my chest I didn't even know was there. They're a promise, a vow that our child will grow up in a world defined by care, not conflict. But one big question still lingers, heavy and complex. Do you think your parents, your family, should be part of our child's life? I ask, my voice soft but serious. Jason pauses, his thumb tracing gentle circles on my hand as he thinks it over. That depends entirely on their actions, not just their words, he says carefully. If they can prove they've changed, consistently show respect for us and our boundaries, then yeah, I'd want our child to know their grandparents, aunt and uncle. But only if it's safe, emotionally and physically. We won't put our family at risk. His thoughtful response washes away my worries. We're aligned as we've been through every twist of this journey. True partners navigating rocky paths together. I lean into him, grateful for his clarity, his strength, his unwavering support. As twilight deepens, the sky shifting from vibrant oranges to deep, velvety blues, I reflect on the past 6 months. It's been a whirlwind of pain, growth, and unexpected clarity. That awful night at the Williams mansion could have shattered me. The slap that stung my cheek, the spit that dripped down my face, the cruel laughter as they filmed my humiliation. But instead of breaking, it sparked something fierce inside me. I've learned that standing up for myself isn't selfish. It's essential. It's about claiming my worth, refusing to let others diminish me. True love, I've realized, isn't just candlelit dinners or sweet words. It's fierce advocacy, standing shoulder to shoulder against adversity. Jason showed me that, defending me without hesitation, choosing me over a family that betrayed us both. Family, I've come to understand, isn't defined by blood or last names. It's built on actions, trust, respect, and the choice to show up for each other. The Williams family may share Jason's blood, but their actions showed a different truth. In contrast, our military community, my colleagues, and friends like Laura have become our chosen family, offering support when we needed it most. The biggest lesson, though, is about strength. Even in our darkest moments, when everything feels broken, there's a reservoir of resilience inside us, waiting to be tapped. That night, as I stood against the dining room wall, tears mixing with spit, I felt small, powerless. But something shifted. A spark of defiance, a refusal to let their cruelty define me. That spark grew into a fire, one that's carried me through healing and beyond. Jason and I have spent countless hours dissecting that night, talking through every detail on long walks or over coffee in our kitchen. We've analyzed what went wrong, how their resentment festered, and how we can protect ourselves moving forward. Those conversations have made us wiser, more intentional about our boundaries and our future. Our mantra, "Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or letting them back in fully," has guided us through this. It's a reminder that forgiveness is for us, not them. It's about releasing the anger that could weigh us down, while still holding firm to boundaries that keep us safe. We've set strict rules for the Williams family: short, supervised meetings, always on neutral ground like a cafe, never at their mansion or our home. It's a delicate balance, leaving room for change without risking our peace. Some days I question if we're being too hard. Could we give them another chance? But then I remember the sting of that slap, the venom in their words, and I know these boundaries are non-negotiable. Jason agrees, and we check in often, ensuring we're still aligned. It's a process, one we're navigating together, step by careful step. The support group has been a lifeline in this journey. Co-leading has given me purpose, a way to channel my pain into something meaningful. I've met women like Sarah, who dreads holiday dinners with her mother-in-law's constant criticism, or Emily, whose husband's parents question her every decision while he's deployed. Sharing my story, first cautiously, then openly, has helped them feel seen, just as they did for me that first night. We talk about practical things: how to respond to a snide comment about your small job, how to set limits without guilt, or how to find joy in holidays when your spouse is gone. I share strategies I've learned, like calmly redirecting conversations or walking away when tensions rise. The group has grown so much that Laura and I now plan activities like coffee meetups or yoga sessions to build community beyond the meetings. Laura's talking about starting a blog for the group. I tell Jason, the evening breeze cooling my skin. A place to share tips and stories anonymously for spouses who can't attend in person. "That's brilliant," he says, his voice warm. "You're building something real, Jennifer. A legacy of support." His encouragement means everything. I think back to the early days after the incident, when I doubted myself constantly. Could I heal? Could I trust again? Jason was there through it all, attending therapy sessions with me, holding me when nightmares woke me, and standing firm during court dates. His love has been a steady anchor, grounding me when the world felt unsteady. The news of our pregnancy has woven a new thread into the tapestry of our lives. It's exhilarating, like standing at the edge of a new adventure, but also daunting, a reminder that life pushes forward even after the deepest wounds. I've started a journal, a simple notebook with a soft blue cover, where I write letters to our baby. Each entry captures our hopes, our values, and the fierce love that has carried Jason and me through the darkest moments. I want our child to know they're entering a family forged in resilience and care, not conflict or control. A family where love is a verb, shown through actions every day. I glance at Jason as we sit on our porch, the stars just beginning to twinkle in the deepening Georgia sky. The air is warm, carrying the faint scent of blooming jasmine from our small garden. "I've been thinking about names," I say, my voice light but tinged with excitement. "What do you think of Emma for a girl, or Liam for a boy?" Jason's grin is instant, his eyes sparkling like the stars above. "Emma's perfect," he says, his voice warm. "Liam's great too. Maybe we'll need both if we're lucky." His playful tone pulls a laugh from me, a sound that feels like a release, easing the weight of heavier thoughts that linger in the back of my mind. Those heavier thoughts, though, don't stay quiet for long. The question of his family, his parents, his sister, his brother, sits like a stone in my chest. "What about your parents?" I ask, my voice softer now, almost hesitant. "How do we decide when, or if, they're safe for our child to be around?" Jason sighs, his expression shifting to one of careful thought. He leans back, his hand still holding mine, his thumb brushing gently over my knuckles. "It's not about one big gesture of change," he says, his voice steady but measured. "It's about consistency over time, months, maybe years. They need to prove they've let go of their need to control, that they respect you as my wife and our child's mother. If they can't do that, we'll keep our distance, no question. His clarity is a gift, a beacon in the fog of uncertainty. We've had this conversation before, circling the same fears and hopes, but each time, it sharpens our vision for the family we're building. We want our child surrounded by people who lift them up, grandparents who delight in their quirks, who cheer their small victories, not ones who judge their background or our choices. If the Williams family can't be those people, we'll fill those roles with others. Friends, neighbors, our tight-knit military community, who've already shown us what true support looks like. That community has been nothing short of a revelation. When Eric posted that edited video, trying to paint me as the aggressor, it could have torn us apart. Instead, it backfired spectacularly. Military spouses like Laura, fierce and loyal, saw through the lies. They called out the manipulation online, sharing the truth with a speed and passion that left me speechless. Neighbors left casseroles and handwritten notes on our porch, their kindness a warm embrace. Colleagues sent cards, their words of encouragement piling up on our kitchen counter. Even strangers, people we'd never met, reached out with messages of support after hearing about the incident. It's shown me that family isn't just who you're born to, it's who shows up, who chooses you when the chips are down. We've moved forward in other ways, too, carving out a new chapter that feels like a fresh start. Last month, we said goodbye to the cramped quarters of base housing and moved into a charming 3-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood just 20 minutes from Fort Benning. It's not the sprawling farm we dream of owning one day, with wide fields and a creaky porch swing, but it's ours. The house has honey-colored wood floors, big windows that let in golden light, and a small backyard where I've started planting flowers, bright marigolds and delicate lavender. This porch, where we sit now, has become our sanctuary, a place to dream, to plan, to simply be together. The legal aftermath of that night was grueling but clarifying. The Williams family, with their wealth and connections, hired top-tier lawyers, but the evidence was undeniable. Security footage that captured every moment of Barbara's slap, Vanessa's spit, and their cruel words. They took a plea deal: probation, mandatory counseling, community service, and a financial settlement we promptly donated to a charity supporting military families. It felt like justice, not just for me but for the principle of accountability. Barbara's therapy reports, submitted to the court, suggest she's wrestling with her controlling nature, peeling back layers of entitlement that fueled her actions. General Williams, with his military discipline, was the first to offer a formal apology, sent in a letter that acknowledged his failure to intervene that night. His words were stiff but sincere, a step toward accountability. Vanessa's journey has been slower but shows promise. Her community service at a women's shelter seems to be opening her eyes to the impact of her actions, her latest letter hinting at genuine remorse. Eric, though, remains distant, his pride stung by the public fallout of his edited video. He's in court-mandated anger management, but his updates to Jason are curt, no real apology in sight. Reconciliation with the Williams family is a long, winding road, one we tread cautiously. Jason and I have agreed to a tentative coffee meeting with Barbara next week, our first contact since that night. It'll be in a public cafe, short and structured, with clear boundaries in place. I'm nervous, my stomach twisting at the thought of seeing her again, but I'm also open to progress. I want to believe people can change, but I'm ready to walk away if her actions don't match her words. What doesn't break us makes us stronger. I murmur, echoing our therapist's words, which have become a touchstone through our healing. Jason kisses my forehead, his lips warm and steady against my skin. We were already strong, he says softly, his voice full of quiet conviction. Now we're unbreakable. We sit in silence, but it's the kind that feels rich, not empty. A silence born of trust and shared understanding. The stars multiply above, dotting the sky like tiny promises, and a deep peace settles over me. For the first time in months, I feel truly at ease, like the storm has passed and the horizon glows with possibility. The road ahead won't be smooth. Pregnancy will bring its own challenges. Morning sickness, doctor visits, the overwhelming joy and fear of preparing for a new life. Work will demand balance, especially with my new role teaching military kids on base, a job that feels like a calling. And there may be cautious steps toward mending ties with Jason's family, each one taken with care and vigilance. But we'll face it all together, armed with the hard-won wisdom we've gained. Our child will grow up knowing they're loved, not just by us but by a community that's proven its heart time and again. I imagine them years from now, running through the grass of that dream farm we talk about, their laughter bright and free, surrounded by people who choose kindness over control, who celebrate them for who they are. That vision anchors me, filling me with hope. It's what keeps me grounded as I lean against Jason, watching the night unfold, feeling the gentle weight of his arm around me. We're ready for whatever comes next, together. Have you ever stood up to family who treated you unfairly? What gave you the courage to set boundaries with difficult in-laws? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who might need to know they're not alone in navigating tough family dynamics. Thank you for watching, and always remember, you deserve respect in every relationship.